Hi, this is Professor Beckett coming to you, not live, coming to you from my home, about to teach you chapter 24, which is negotiability. I want you to take a deep breath. This is actually going to be the shortest segment of this whole thing because the only things I want you to know really have to do with checks and the negotiability of checks. A lot of you may have never even written a check in your entire life, and that's okay. Um, Checks right now are probably a little bit outdated, and a lot of people use either wire transfers or Venmo or Zelly or any of the other multiple ways to um, send checks back and forth or send money back and forth. So this is in your textbook. I'm going to go over it, but that's really essentially what I want you to know for this chapter. That's going to conclude our evening together. So I want to make sure, first of all, that you've actually seen. This is me trying to work on this YouTube stuff here. Wait, that's not it. Here we go. Okay, what is a check? Have you ever seen a check? Well, here is a picture of a check. A check has to have a finite number of things. There's got to be there's 9 different things that are requirements in order for you to have a formal check. And the 9 requirements are: it has to be in writing, as you can see, this is in writing. It has to be signed. Right here is where you would sign your check. It has to contain a promise to pay. See, right here, you're promising to pay over here. This is where that would go. It has to be unconditional, meaning you're not going to give somebody a check on a premise or an idea that something else happens. Once you give them a check, that's it. It's based on that check. You're giving them that cash. That's it. It has to be a fixed amount. You put the amount right here, and you also write it out right over here. It has to be for money, right? You're not going to give a check to somebody for chickens or gold or anything else like that. It has to be for money, cash. It has to contain no other instruction. And it has to be payable on demand on a finite date and time. You're going to put your time right here. And once you give somebody a check, while some people may post-date things, technically speaking, once you give somebody a check, it should have a date. There should be that money there in that bank account at that point, and payable to a particular person, right? Right over here again. What is this thing right here for? This is, I think, the most important line in the check. If you're giving anybody money for anything, write down what it's for. Especially if you're loaning a friend money. Number one, you know how I feel about loaning people money. Don't ever do it. Never a good idea. But if you are going to give somebody money, you put down loan to so-and-so. Loan, dated, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you put the word loan nice and big here. Why? So they can't come back and say it was actually a gift. You gave me a birthday gift. You gave me a Kwanzaa gift. You gave me a holiday gift. Whatever it is. No. You put down that it's a loan, so it takes care of that aspect of it. Here you also have your checking number and your routing number, which is just information on the check to know which bank it is and whatnot. That's not important. What you do also need to know that the most common form of a negotiable instrument is a check. And there's other things that are considered also negotiable instruments, like promissory notes and IOUs, right? Maybe you did those when you were kids. You wrote I owe you a sandwich, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for blah, blah, blah. I owe you this. But promissory notes are really the big, adult example, and then checks are the most common form of those things. So that's the important part of chapter 24 that I want you to know. We write checks based on what? Like I said, it's money. Money is the only authorized entity to be exchanged between people. You're not bartering on gold or any other thing. That's bartering. That's not money. So is bartering money? No. That's you bartering, exchanging one thing for the other. But money has to be authorized by a sovereign government. And that's pretty much all the stuff that I want you to know. I'm now going to talk to you a little bit about your exam. Your exam, let me just see here, next week is what? Your exam is going to have those 10 short answer questions, which are worth 5 points each. And you're going to have to write 2 essays. I'm going to tell you the 4 possible essays on there. And then the day of the exam, I'm going to give you 3 out of 4. You then choose 2 out of the 3 that you want to do, and you write about them. So right now, I'm going to give you the 4 cases you need to know. And for those cases, just write it down. Take a look at my notes because I want to make sure I give you the correct information. You need to know the facts, the legal principle, the conclusion, and whether or not you agree with the court's ruling. So again, that's the facts, legal principle, conclusion, and whether or not you agree with the court's ruling. I'm going to give you 4 cases right now. Out of those 4 cases, the day of the exam, I'm going to have 3 cases on your exam, and you will be instructed to select any 2 of your choosing. And you're going to write down the facts, the legal principle, the conclusion, and whether or not you agree. The 2 essay questions are worth 25 points each. So the cases are as follows: Neugbauer versus Neugbauer, In Re Scoreboard, Reed versus King, and Parker versus 20th Century Fox. So those are your 4 cases. One more time: Neugbauer versus Neugbauer, In Re Scoreboard, Reed versus King, Parker versus 20th Century. Thank you.